Hey guys, this is the introduction episode of how to play Call of Duty. I am Anticipation, and I'll be going through some of the basics today. I strongly recommend anyone who watches any video in this series watch this first. Now, the purpose of this entire series is to teach you the optimal way to play Call of Duty and how to minimize your mistakes. I also want you to think differently, and I hope you guys will win more consistently. The reason I'm making this series is to increase the competitive nature of tournament websites and just any tournament in general. I want those top 40 players that everyone knows about to turn into top, 100 players. The more players in that competitive scene, the better. Now, who am I? I'm a 17-year-old player who loves video games. I've played Call of Duty really young, 8 years old, at a place called Cyberjocks. I also fell in love with other games like Counter-Strike and League of Legends, which I played very, very frequently. I was actually a top 50 player in League of Legends last season. I never really took COD as seriously as some people, but I know quite a bit about it, and I know a lot from other games that I can share with you, which will teach you how to play COD better. Now, the primary qualities of a Call of Duty player. These are very important. This is the key of this entire video. First off is connection. Everyone's connection is different, and it'll be rated between very good, bad, average, good, and great. Your long range and short range gun skill, which I assure you are two very different things, will be rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Your decision making, which is knowing what to do when, is on a scale of 1 to 10. Your map awareness, which is knowing where your teammates are, where your enemies are, and where you should go, is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Your efficiency, which is how well you use your time, is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Your clutch performance, which is how you do in those high pressure situations, is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Your attitude will be rated on a scale of 1 to 10. And your adaptation, which is, changing your playstyle or changing what you're doing based on the situation, is rated on a scale of 1 to 4. Now, some variables that you really can't control are the map, your teammates' performance, the enemy's playstyle, luck, which I put in quotations because I really don't think it exists as much people think it does, which I'll go over in another video, and your mood. I strongly recommend that if you lose a game, you just stop playing for the rest of the day. That may seem hard for some people, and that may seem really dumb, but believe me when I say that just one loss is enough to put any player on tilt, and it'll make it harder for you. Obviously, there'll be times when you're playing best 2s out of 3s, or when you're in a tournament that you just can't stop playing, but at least take a 15-minute break and get a breather. Now, here's some quick math. If you, let's say you're playing some Call of Duty matches on a GB ladder. So you start up your first game, and the enemy is just as good as you are. You have a 50-50 chance to win that game. So that means you have a 50% chance to win. That's easy math. So you play a second game, and you want to win this game too. So you want to win 2 in a row. You now have a 25% of doing this. Now you're playing a third opponent of equal skill. If you want to win all 3 games in a row, that's a 13% chance, which is a very low number, and that's very hard to do. So obviously, you will not make it that far being as good as your opponents. You need to be better than them, which is kind of self-explanatory, but let's say you're really good. I'm sure you guys would assume that 90% is really good, right? Well, if you are 90% better than your opponents, you have a 90% chance to win all your games. You only have a 19% chance to go 15-0. That's kind of scary when you think about it, It's hard to get to that 90 percentile. So what you really have to do is you have to aim for 99%. Now, that may seem impossible for some people to be better than, to be a 1 in 100 player, but I promise you it's possible, and I promise you that if you put in the effort, you can. Now, as I just said, some requirements for success. You need to put in the time. I suggest an hour to 3 hours every single day playing Call of Duty. I also think that effort is another big thing. If you're not trying your hardest during the hour to 3 hours, it won't even be worth your time. Now, patience. You're not going to go from losing the XX Quickscope Sniper 74 XX to beating Optic Nade Shot in one day. That shit just don't happen. You need to put in the patience. You need to put in the time. Now, you also need to have a neutral attitude, which I will discuss in depth next video because it is very, very important. Now, with those 4 things, everything else will come naturally. But you also do need to have a desire to learn and succeed. If you don't want to learn, you don't want to become better, then there's really no point in watching my videos. So I hope that was informative for you guys, and I hope you guys are excited for the next upcoming videos. I'll talk to you guys later. This is